Hello, hello, hello. This is Tammy and I am live. I wanted to just pop in here today just to talk to you. Now, first off, let me go ahead and say if you're watching, if you're just scrolling, make sure that you smash that subscribe button, hit the like button so that YouTube can see that this is a good video and push it out so that more people can get a hold of my magic. So, anyway, again, my name is Tammy Morrison. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an author. I am a spiritual teacher. I'm a quantum healer. I am also a lifestyle creator and influencer. All of the things. I am a psychic medium. So I have those gifts as well. And what that usually means is just that I'm connected to who I am and my gifts. So the first thing I want to do is I want to share this card that I pulled, and then we're going to talk about these timelines because that is a major thing that I've been learning and that I've been dealing with in my own body, my own stuff. So I'm sharing it with you guys. Thank you so much for the hearts. Um, so the card I pulled was the Cosmos. The Cosmos. Creativity, vastness. It says creativity, vastness. So I'm gonna share with you what they say it is, and then I'm gonna give you my take on it. So the cosmos appears always as an ally, never as a challenger. Creativity in all forms is represented by the cosmos. This is a sign to place your attention on creative projects. They will be successful. Remember that all life is creative and you're always co creating with the divine. Now, that's important. I want you to remember that so that when I start going into the timeline, you can understand. The cosmos also represents, thank you, baby, the principle of infinity and vastness of the energetic exchange of consciousness influencing all living things. This teaches us that every intention we set is, in fact, contagious with the power to influence others. We're entangled at our deepest energetic place, so we can't help but have an effect on others, from an individual level to a global one. This is a sign to remind you to open up to the well of creativity deep within you and be mindful of your thoughts and actions. Both are influencing your outer world. Most important, keep taking action toward your goals as the cosmos responds perfectly to manifest your highest destiny. Expect to be inspired and to meaningfully touch others with all that you create. That is freaking amazing. That was a lovely card. And it actually goes right into what I'm going to discuss. I'm talking about the timelines. So let me tell you what the definition of timeline is first. And then we'll go into the shifting part. Okay. So a timeline is a graphic representation of a passage of time as a line, or a chronological arrangement of events in the order of the occurrence, or a schedule for when a process or a procedure will be carried out. So when we think about timelines, think about it in terms of your job. You may be a person that is like a project manager or somebody that does things within your corporation or within your business or whatever. And so maybe you have a certain time period that you're supposed to get these things done. Maybe they are doing a project that is on a time guideline. So you will have a timeline. So you'll start on, say, Monday, and then on Friday you're supposed to have, a certain amount of progress. And then maybe the next week, there's a certain amount of progress, but the timeline goes out maybe, half a year. And so you know that in the half a year, this is going to be done. You started this project, and you know that if you started in January, and you know that by June they want the project done. So the timeline would be that. It would be when you started, and then when you do the milestones, because there are different milestones within timelines. So when you start the project on Monday, and then you have a milestone within the next week, and then another milestone the next week, and then maybe another milestone the next month. But you understand what I'm saying is different timelines. And by the end of it, it's going to look different than it was when you started. Does that make sense? So like if you started a project, say, and I'm going to use a cake because I love to bake. So if you started baking and you had You had your flour, you had your butter, you had your flavoring, you had your fruit if you put fruit in it. You had all the things that you need: the bacon flour, baking powder, baking soda, all the things that you're putting in the cake, the flavoring, all of that. So you're putting all this in the cake, but you have all the ingredients. But when you finish the cake, when the cake finishes baking, it's not going to look like it looked when you started. Your 50 separate ingredients. It's not going to look like that. And that is exactly what timelines are. So as you go forward on the timeline and you start seeing, okay, yeah, you know, it's not going to look like all the separate ingredients. And that's the same thing with us. Our higher timeline is going to look different than where we are now. And so there's a process that we can do to shift into that. And I'm going to share that with you today. It includes 5 steps, 5 steps, 5 steps to share with you about shifting timelines. And so I'm going to share that. And I absolutely love to talk about this stuff. So, and I'm going to tell y'all why. I love to talk about it because I'm actually processing this now. So I'm actually experiencing this. So you are actually watching me do this in real time. So as you continue to watch, and that's the reason why I ask you to subscribe, so you can continue to watch, because I'm going to continue to go live and I'm going to continue to upload videos. By the way, I have tomorrow at 5 o'clock, my show premieres with Safriana Luna. She's an amazing author and spiritual person. She does a lot of different things. She used to be she's a retired trauma therapist. So, she has a lot of experience with helping people out of shifting timelines, basically. Yes. And so you want to check her out tomorrow, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That show is going to premiere right here on this channel. So I would love it if you would join me and check that out. Tomorrow also, I'm doing a workshop or a little masterclass right here on YouTube on healing divorce, or I say divorce and breakup, because a lot of people aren't getting married, but they've been together with people 10 and 15, 20 years, and then they split up. To me, it's like a divorce. And so I call that, and so I'm doing a workshop on that, how to heal that energetically and recognize the signs, because divorce is like a death. So really you experience all the signs of grief. So I'm going to do that particular workshop tomorrow. I would love it if you would join me. It is going to be 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. I almost forgot about it because I had put it on Eventbrite, but then I decided not to bother with that. And so I just decided to just do it here, because I actually really was going to cancel it, but I had already said it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I already created it mostly, so I'm going to do it. All right, so let's talk about shifting these timelines. And so shifting a timeline in the context of personal development and metaphysics, it says, often refers to making significant changes in one's life in that result in a different trajectory or outcome. And that's really what we want. Typically, that's why we shift timelines, so that we can change our life. You want something different. Maybe you are tired of working your job like me. Maybe your career like me. Maybe it's time for you to shift that. And maybe that is what you're doing when you're shifting timelines, because that's what I'm doing. I'm shifting the timeline of a person that's working in this job to a person that's not. That was the first shift that I needed to make. And I needed to make it in my mind, although there are other things that I'm working through, but that is the first shift. And sometimes you have to get to that first shift before you can move forward into anything else. So it's about aligning with the desired reality through changes in perception, decision making, and behavior. And so typically what you want to do is, number one, is identify the desired timeline. So clarify what you want to experience in your life. This could be a goal or a state of being that you wish to achieve, any of that. But the first step is getting clear on what it is that you desire. And y'all, I'm telling you, it sounds easy, and it sounds like, oh, I could just jump in there and do that. But typically when you get started, especially if you are on this journey, and for me, I can say that, over 30 years of my life, so over half of my life, I've been doing this work, that I'm shifting out of. So it's a shift in your mind, and it also is a shift in your body too, because a lot of times what happens is when you accept something, and I'm going to say it like this: I accepted this career because I've been in burnout for probably the past 10 plus years. I would say 12 years. I've been in burnout. Once I look back, because y'all know what hindsight is, right? It's 2020. So once I began to look back on this thing, then I started realizing, I was burned out as hell and didn't even realize and couldn't figure it out and couldn't get out of it. And so when I started realizing that, that's when I said, okay, I know I need to make this shift. And so the next step, number two, is to shift your vibrational state. So you want to align your emotional and energetic state to match that of the desired timeline. So whatever it is that you want, whatever you desire. And I actually watched a video on this about this young lady talking about um, being the $1 million version of yourself. And so, whatever you desire, if you desire to be, because what I did was I started shifting and saying, I desire not to do this work. I desire not to do it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to do it on any capacity, because I had friends that were like, oh, well, try this and try that and do this and maybe work, you maybe do home health, maybe do that. I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to do any of that. I'm at that point. I'm here. So what I had to do was I had to shift my vibrational state, align my emotional and energetic state to match that of the desired timeline. This involves cultivating feelings and thoughts that resonate with your goals. And so one thing that I suggest is you sit with this. Sit down one day and just, what I do is I sit down and I put on some good music. Like the music that's playing in the background, it is royalty-free jazz music from YouTube, just in case anybody is wondering. Um, but I sit down and I take a moment, and for me, because I'm a writer, I start writing and I write down some stuff, and I begin to get my feelings and my thoughts involved in shifting my vibrational state, and also number three is lock in the vibrational state. So consistently maintain the emotional and energetic state that aligns with your desired timeline without wavering. So this part takes faith. Really, all of it does. But this part, you have to have faith. Because in order to lock in that vibrational state, especially in the face of the thing that you don't desire, so like especially in the state of you're still going to work, you're still going to work, but you're working your way out of it. Maybe you've decided to cut back. Maybe you've got a plan where, maybe you're, paying bills off like I am. You're paying bills down so that you can leave that and it won't be a stress or a strain, or you won't feel stressed or strained. But when you shift into your vibrational state, you won't feel any of that. And when you begin to lock it in, because when you lock it in, you consistently maintain the emotional, energetic state that aligns with that desired timeline, without wavering. That's hard sometimes. It can be a challenge. However, it is possible. It is possible. Once you begin to lock that in and once you begin to align your emotional and energetic state to match that timeline. So basically, what you are doing is you are taking yourself there in your emotional state and in your mind and in your heart. This is where you are. This is who you are. And what happens after that is you will begin to start to do things that person would do. So take action is number 4. Perform actions that are expressions of the new timeline. This makes making choices and taking steps that are congruent with your desired outcome. So perform actions that are expressions of your new timeline. This means making choices and taking steps that are congruent with your desired outcome. So when you believe, because basically this is what this is shifting your belief. So when you believe that you are in that desired timeline and you have shifted your vibrational state so that you are there, and you have number 3 locked it in, and then you have started taking action, that aligns with your new timeline, that aligns with who you are. So think about, what does, this is what I always say, what does 7-figure Tammi do? Where does 7-figure Tammi shop? Where does 7-figure Tammi work? Or does she work? Where does she travel? What kind of food does she eat? Does 7-figure Tammi exercise? Yes, she does. You know, The seven-figure Tammi, do what she wants to do. The seven-figure Tammi, able not to do that particular career that she was doing. Yeah, because she ain't gonna get the seven figures doing that. So when you think about that, this is what will take you to that space and keep you there. And then number 5, y'all, is persevere. So stay committed to your path, even when faced with challenges, and that is also the challenge. And continue to act in alignment with your desired timeline. Because what happens a lot of times is we hit a challenge, we hit a snag. We hit a snag in our life. We hit a challenge, and sometimes the first thing we want to do after we hit that challenge is give up. Sometimes we just want to give up. We want to just let go. We want to just say, you know what, we're not doing this today. It's going to be okay. And we're not going to worry about it. And this is, and this is what happens a lot of times to us when the challenges show up and hit us. But the thing is we can get ourselves into that state where, to be honest, when you lock into that state, you're unfuckwithable. I mean, you really are. You get yourself into that state, and what I say is a state of knowing, a state of knowing. It is an extension of your faith, knowing, because the thing is a lot of times we just don't know. It ain't got nothing to do with that. We just don't know. I mean, we just are not solidified on the fact that this is real, number one. Number two, the fact that this is going to happen, or this has happened, really, and so, it's difficult, it's difficult. But I'm going to go back over the 5 steps to shifting the timeline, because that is really what we are doing here, is shifting the timeline. So the first thing we want to do is identify the desired timeline. And in that, we're going to clarify what we want to experience in our life. And then we're going to, number 2, shift our vibrational state. So we're going to align our emotional and energetic state to match that of the desired timeline. So this involves cultivating feelings and thoughts that resonate with your goals. So they want you to really, really, think about what it is that you want, and make yourself, feel that thing. Make yourself feel it. And then number 3, you want to lock in your vibrational state. Lock it in so that you are consistently maintaining that emotional and energetic state. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, because you already got that thing. It's like Neville Goddard's law of assumption. You just assume a thing and you got it. And I love that one, because that's what I've been doing. Assuming a thing, and I know that it's going to happen for me. It's going to move. This is going to shift, whatever. Number 4 is take action. And you're going to be taking actions based on the expressions of your new timeline. So you're going to be taking actions based on who the hell you are in that other timeline. So wherever it is that you want to go, those are the actions that you're going to be taking to get there. Number 5 is persevere. Stay committed to your path, even when faced with challenges, and continue to act in alignment with your desired timeline. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I've enjoyed it as usual. I hope it's been helpful. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and that you watch the next video that's going to pop up on that screen for you. Or watch some videos. And thank you for helping me on my monetization journey. I really appreciate it. Also, I have this book that I've written. You can actually grab a copy of it on Amazon. You can grab a copy of it on Amazon. It is available. I will drop that link in the chat, so that if you're watching this later and you want to grab it, because it is an amazing book. It's part of my story. And I'm going to read it back to you real quick. This is a story of how one decision can have massive spiraling effects on your life and everyone around you. The transition came after the diagnosis of the long-dreaded 3-letter word, HIV. How does a wife, a mother, and a woman forgive her husband, let alone find peace and reconciliation in such circumstances? We are all one decision away from a completely different life. Yet many of us stay blinded to that possibility and remain stagnant until we die. The lessons interwoven within the struggle are priceless and have awakened Tammy's soul to the possibilities that lie within the unknown. First, you have to walk away. And that's me, y'all. And all my blonde. All right. So thank you so much for joining. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. You might want to continue to follow me and continue to follow me on TikTok at IntuitiveTammi, because that is another space that I go live. Also, I have a 7-day intuition development course, mini course, that I am sending out to your email. So if you would like to have that, reach out to me on whatever platform you are watching this on here on YouTube. You can pop it in the chat. Also, you can go on my about section and find the other places I am, which Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I think my email is even in there. So if you want to send me an email, and let me know that you are wanting to join the mini course, because it's going out to the email. That's how it's going to be done. I'm super excited about it. But it's going to start a week from Monday. So in about 2 weeks, we're going to start. So if you want to get in on it, make sure that you are following me and that you get your email to me some kind of way. I was creating a landing page for it, but I don't think it worked out right. So I have to go back to the drawing board and see what I need to do to change it. But at this time, yeah. So I'm doing that, and I'm super excited about it because I know it's necessary and people need it. So again, thank you for joining. And if you want to work with me, that's the other thing I have to say. If you are looking, to shift your own timelines, and you want to work with me, make sure that you send me a message. Like I said, and find me on any of those other platforms that you're on, and send me a message, because sometimes it's hard to do on here. I do try to go back and look at the notifications and look at the messages and stuff, but it just doesn't always work out. All right, so have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope your day's magical, and I hope that it is, whatever day you catch this, hope that you're fulfilled. And then make sure that you subscribe and that you like and share on this video, because this one was fire. So again, if you have issues shifting your timelines, continue to watch, because I'll be talking about it. Bye now.